The Oklahoma Supreme Court says the Norman City Council broke laws. Medical experts take the stand to testify police aren't to blame for George Floyd's death and find out how long the rain will stick around. This is OU Nightly. Hello, thanks for joining us for OU Nightly. I'm Will Blessing.
And I'm Mckenzie Gladney. A huge decision regarding a Norman City Council meeting was upheld by the Oklahoma Supreme Court yesterday. Sydney Baulier joins us. Sydney?
Yesterday, the Oklahoma Supreme Court upheld the Cleveland County Court's prior December ruling that the Norman City Council did not properly follow the Open Meeting Act on June 16, 2020. The county court ruled in favor of the Fraternal Order of the Police who brought the lawsuit against the city of Norman after the June session. After the Cleveland court ruled in favor of the police in December, the city filed an appeal to the state Supreme Court. The Norman City Council special meeting held 10 months ago was scheduled to discuss defunding the Norman police force following George Floyd's death in Minneapolis 3 weeks prior. The 11-hour meeting concluded with an $865,000 cut from Norman PD's overall $31 million budget. The district court judge said that the notice for the meeting was deceptively worded or materially obscured the stated purpose of the meeting and is therefore a willful violation of the Open Meetings Act. When I reached out to the Norman City manager, Daryl Pyle, he responded via email with a statement acknowledging the court's ruling with plans to review and take necessary action going forward. As more details emerge with this story, we will continue to update you here on OU Nightly. Back to you.
Thanks, Sydney. A new bill that would grant protection to drivers in protests passed the Oklahoma State Senate this morning. OU Nightly's Kemper has more.
The Oklahoma State Senate voted overwhelmingly to grant legal and civil protection for a person driving a vehicle that hits protesters who impede traffic. House Bill 1674 was debated this morning before passing the vote by an overwhelming margin. This legislation comes after last year's historic Black Lives Matter protests across the country. Among the most vocal critics of the bill are Tulsa Senator Kevin Matthews, who says the bill is addressing the wrong issues.
When the courts don't do anything, when legislators don't do anything, people will take to the streets to protest because that's all they feel they have the power to do. And we've had legislation after legislation passed this session against protesters instead of stopping Black people from being killed when they're unarmed by law enforcement officers. We've had several years of political divide, and that's what I believe caused this legislation.
The bill passed the Senate with a vote of 38-10, with 2 Senate Republicans voting against it. It will now go to Governor Kevin Stitt to be signed into law. If the bill is signed, it will take effect on November 1st of this year. Back to you in the studio.
Prosecutors are charging the police officer who shot and killed Daunte Wright with second-degree manslaughter. Brooklyn Police Center Officer Kemper shot the 20-year-old during a traffic stop Sunday afternoon. Potter, a 26-year police veteran, submitted her resignation earlier this week and was taken into custody this morning. The shooting of Daunte Wright occurred just miles away from where the trial of Derek Chauvin is taking place.
Expert medical witnesses testify for the defense today in the trial of Derek Chauvin, claiming that Floyd died from a heart issue instead of Chauvin's actions. Camille Bernal has the latest.
Bottom line is he has an enlarged heart.
Maryland's former chief medical examiner testifying as an expert witness as the defense attempts to establish an alternative theory of George Floyd's death.
How did the heart and drugs contribute to the cause of death?
They were significant.
Dr. David Fowler telling the jury Floyd's drug use, prior health conditions, and potential exposure to carbon monoxide from the exhaust pipe of a police vehicle
contributed to Mr. Floyd having a sudden cardiac arrest.
The prosecution disagrees, blaming Floyd's death on Derek Chauvin's actions.
The defendant's conduct was a causal factor in bringing about Mr. Floyd's death.
And on the second day of the defense's presentation, attorney Eric Nelson looking to bring a quick end to the trial.
For a judgment of acquittal in this particular case, the state has essentially introduced doubt in the context of providing multiple opinions from multiple experts, all of which seem to contradict each other.
Taken as a whole, the state believes that it's established and will establish beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant is guilty of all charges.
I'm going to deny the defense motion for judgment of acquittal.
The defense is expected to rest its case as soon as the end of the week.
Judge Cal expects that closing arguments will come on Monday.
All U.S. forces are being withdrawn from Afghanistan, putting an end to the United States' longest war. Purpura has that story and the rest of today's headlines from around the world. Pepper.
Thanks. President Biden officially announced that American troops will leave Afghanistan by September 11th. Troops will begin to withdraw from the region May 1st, the original date that former President Trump set for troops to be gone. This decision brings an end to America's longest war, and it will happen on the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks. The officer that fatally shot a Capitol riot on January 6th will not face charges. The Department of Justice reviewed the case for several months before officially closing the case. Ashley Babbitt was part of the mob breaking into the Capitol. She was climbing a broken door when she was shot and fell to the ground. Babbitt was one of 5 people that died at the riot, including a police officer. Advisors to the CDC are meeting today to review blood clot cases related to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Just yesterday, the CDC and the FDA recommended that the U.S. pause distribution of the Janssen vaccine after 6 women reported blood clots. The agency maintains that the cases appear to be extremely rare, but that they pulled the vaccine to be cautious. The other 2 COVID vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, are still available in the U.S. Pfizer has even vowed to increase the distribution in the U.S. in the wake of the Johnson & Johnson announcement. In other news, the Queen of England has officially returned to her royal duties. She held her first official engagement since the death of her husband, Prince Philip. Last Friday, the royal family has been observing a 2-week period of mourning since his death. Back to you, Mckenzie.
Thanks, Pepper. The coronavirus continues to spread across Oklahoma as the State Department of Health reports over 300 new cases of COVID-19. This brings the total number of active cases in the state to a little over 10,000, and the death total stands at more than 8,000.
Now, Mckenzie, there's this old saying, April showers bring May flowers, and we have certainly been getting some showers outside.
Jack Maney is here, and he's telling us, are these showers going to get a little bit more serious?
That's right, guys. It's been pretty gloomy outside today, but we don't have really much to worry about in the way of severe weather. You've felt it out there if you've been outside. It's cold, it's gloomy. There's really not a whole lot of instability or energy in the atmosphere for storms to work with, but we do have a pretty good sized wave of rain coming into the state through the southwestern portions of the state from Lawton up to Norman. That's going to continue across the state for the rest of the night, and then that's not the end of the rain that we're going to see. For the rest of the week, we're going to see even more rain chances, and stay cool. Back to you guys at the desk. Will Mckenzie.
Thanks, Jack. Now, your calculators can rest easy tomorrow because for most of us, it's not tax day.
Yeah, the date has been pushed back, but when exactly do you need to be prepared? Stick with us. Plus, a new way to invest in cryptocurrency. How can you start investing? We'll have that after the break.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. A cryptocurrency exchange has gone public on the stock market, bringing new ways to invest in cryptocurrency.
Zaria Oates has this story and more in Money Matters.
Today, Coinbase Global has become the first ever cryptocurrency exchange on the stock market. Coinbase is based in San Francisco, California, and offers a new way to invest in cryptocurrency through its presence on NASDAQ. You can use Coinbase to convert, buy, and sell various cryptocurrencies. As of Tuesday evening, the shares had a reference price sitting at $250 a share, valuing the company at about $65 billion. This evening, each share is approximately $331. And inflation is in the wake of a $1.9 trillion economic stimulus package passed last month. Prices in March increased nearly 3% compared to March of last year. Areas that saw the highest price increase include gasoline, food, and transportation. This comes as more of the country becomes vaccinated and as quarantine restrictions loosen across the U.S. While tomorrow would typically be the day to file taxes, this year that isn't the case. For most Americans, the IRS has pushed back the tax filing due date to May 17th, given that the latest COVID-19 relief package might affect your taxes. But if you live in Texas, Oklahoma, or Louisiana, you're in luck. The federal tax deadline for these 3 states has been pushed to June 15th due to the extreme February storms. So Mckenzie and Will, it looks like you've got a little more time before your taxes are due. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Zaria. Now, a change is coming to Disney theme parks to push inclusivity among employees.
Find out what's changing when OU Nightly returns. And Jack, what's it looking like out there?
It's looking like it's going to be pretty wet for your evening commute. We'll have details of that and more rain coming later in the week. All that's coming up later in the show next. OU Nightly, you can look outside at downtown Oklahoma City and you can see the rain is starting to push in. It's looking a little bit wet out there, and that's going to continue for the rest of our evening and into our overnight hours tonight. Right now it's 50 degrees in Oklahoma City. The rain is starting to push in and north winds are coming with it. You can see that nice that swath of cool air across southwestern Oklahoma. It's actually down into the 40s in Elk City. That's rain-cooled air across the southwestern portions of the state with a little bit warmer off towards the north and east. We have radar and our wave of rain is starting to push across the state. There's a few thunderstorms down by the Red River, pushing towards the Ardmore area, but really there's only a few rumbles of thunder in this. There's not much, if any, severe weather threat this evening. It's just going to be a nice gentle wave of rain this evening, and that's all courtesy of these 2 low pressure centers that are one off to the northeast over the Great Lakes and one way out there over Nevada. That's going to continue swinging this way and producing little pieces of energy that are going to continue producing rain chances into Friday and all the way through into the weekend. We're going to see rain chances. Our first wave of rain is coming across right now. This is our future track. We're going to see that go across the state into the overnight hours, and then another wave of rain builds in after a little bit of a break tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. By tomorrow evening, we'll start to see the rain come in again, and then another bigger wave of rain through Friday, and that's going to go all the way across the state, and we start to clear out by the weekend. We're going to see rain chances mostly confined across the southern half of the body of the state for this evening, and then on Thursday night into Friday, it's going to be a 77-county rain. Everyone's going to be included in this one with some better chances for thunderstorms across southeastern Oklahoma. How much rain are we expecting out of this system? We could see anywhere from about 1/3 of an inch all the way up to 3/4. Maybe a few lucky winners are going to see possibly over an inch by the time it's all said and done. Looking ahead into the rest of the week, we're going to be cool and cloudy with storms through Thursday and Friday to close out the week, and then we'll start to clear it out and warm up once we go into the weekend. We could be cracking all the way up to the 70s by Monday.
Thanks, Jack. Not looking forward to that rain, but hey, I'll live. Now, Disney's making a push to be more inclusive with their employees at Disney theme parks. The theme cast members can now dress better for cultural expression and individuality. The new policy allows for gender-inclusive hairstyles, jewelry, costume choices, and visible tattoos. Disney says the changes were made to stay relevant in today's workplace and create a better culture for belonging. Now, these changes are effective immediately and will apply to all Disney theme parks.
Mckenzie, there could be thunder outside with these showers we're getting, but the OKC Thunder, they've had a bit of a rough patch.
But yes, one player has been making some noise, and Maya Ward joins us with more.
The Thunder may have lost last night to the Jazz, but don't count them out tonight. Lou Dort had a lights-out game, and hopefully with that momentum, they can pull off a win against the Warriors. Stick around. Welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Amaya Ward, and it's time to check out the sports world. It's a doubleheader by default day at L. Dale Mitchell Park as OU baseball hosts Texas Southern after Tuesday's night game was rained out. OU took the first game, upsetting Texas Southern 6-0. The Sooners held off the Tigers in the 7th inning game 5-1. The OKC Thunder lost last night, but one player made some noise. Lou Dort dropped a career-shattering 42 points against the #1 team in the West and has had has a chance for some deja vu tonight against Golden State. But it won't be easy with Steph Curry on the court, who's coming off a whooping 53 points from Monday. OKC looks to snap that 7-game rut at 8 tonight. The Minnesota Wild held a moment of silence in honor of Daunte Wright before their game today against Arizona. The teams were originally scheduled to meet at 8 tonight, but because of protests, they played at 1 out of respect and safety for everyone involved. The Wild beat out the Coyotes 5-2, but this was their second rescheduling since the shooting. Let's move back to the mound, or move the mound back. The Atlantic League, an 8-team independent partner of the MLB, will experiment moving the pitcher's mound back 12 inches. The league will also test a double hook rule where the DH is tied to the starting pitcher. This means that once the starter is removed from the game, he loses his hitting buddy. If either of these rules are worth it, they'll be tested in the minors before headed to the big leagues. St. Louis Cardinals' Yadier Molina made history today, catching his 2000th game of his career for the same team. Yadi felt the love with a standing ovation for becoming the 6th catcher in the MLB history to reach such a mark. The NFL released the rules for its off-season programs today in 3 phases. The league wants to use the phase 1 to focus on making vaccines available to players, team staff, and their families as soon as their various local regulations permit. Mini camps in the week of phase 2, but still prohibits contact and limits the amount of the time spent on the field per day. Meetings during phase 3 will be held virtually or in person and abide by the COVID rules about testing, contact tracing, and social distancing in the team's facilities. The league will not require vaccinations, but is waiting to hear back from the NFLPA on a proposal that will ease COVID restrictions on vaccinated players. It doesn't get cleaner than these uniforms. Check it out. The USA released their Tokyo Olympics closing ceremony uniforms designed by none other than Ralph Lauren. These unis had been ready to go when the games were postponed last summer. The athletes wear them at the end of the games, August 8th, and show off their not yet seen opening ceremony unis July 23rd. Former Sooner star Baker Mayfield is celebrating his 26th birthday today with a winning record as the Browns QB. The Heisman Trophy winner led the Sooners to 2 playoff appearances and now leads Cleveland with 23 wins and 22 losses in games he has started. Guys, I know I miss watching Baker play at Owen Field. What about you guys?
You know, I definitely can say that I miss watching Baker Mayfield play at Owen Field. I'm going to date myself a little bit. You know, I wasn't a student here when he was playing, but he was fun to watch on TV.
Yeah, I saw a little bit my freshman year, so got a little bit of that action, Will.
Now, today is the perfect excuse to pick up a new hobby or enjoy the green thumb activity you already love.
After the break, we're going to tell you what today is, how it's so special, and how you can specifically get involved.
I'm Romello Woodfork at the OU Nightly Update Desk. The Indian Health Services is suspending the use of Johnson & Johnson vaccine following the recommendation of the Food and Drug Administration. They are reviewing the data on 6 reported U.S. cases of a rare blood clot. The IHS has delivered more than 290,000 doses, including Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Just 1.5% of those vaccines were Johnson & Johnson. Back to you.
Today is National Gardening Day. To celebrate, just get your hands dirty and plant some flowers, fruits, plants, or veggies.
As many gardeners know, the benefits of gardening come from more than just the produce. Spending time in the garden also provides physical activity and an opportunity to be in nature. You can also join or start a gardening club, so no matter how you garden, just garden.
Now, I know I'll be gardening today, but I don't know if I'll be able to because of the weather. So, Jack, give me one last look at that forecast.
That's right, guys. That weather, that rain that we're actually seeing right now is going to be great news for gardeners out there. If you're going to be getting your plants watered for you tonight and into Friday, we're going to have storms around through Thursday, Friday. Big wave of rain coming in on Friday with a 100% chance of rain. It's raining pretty much all day, and we're going to stay cool through the weekend. With 61 degrees coming up on Sunday, we're going to be struggling to hit the 60s, and we'll start to turn a corner by Sunday into Monday. We'll almost get up to 70 degrees on Monday before another cold front is due on Tuesday, and that's going to drop us right back down almost into the 50s again. We're going to be keeping this cool and cloudy weather pattern around for a while, and rain chances are going to be coming right back in for next week around this time. So it's that time of year, guys. Back to you.
You know, a lot of rain coming in. Not looking forward to most of it, but you know, I'm ready for summer.
No, same. I'm a summer girl. I mean, I kind of hate the hotness, but love the sun, love sitting by the pool, love that. So.
Exactly. You know, hopefully we can get some sun after this this cloud. Now, thank you for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication.
Hey, we'll see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Good night.